infinite shooter. Another very similar. I can see a link. I can't remember the name of the last game that you sent me, and then this
It
one.
was called Antibody, and it was
Thank you,
a
Antibody.
48-hour. Yeah, it's actually something we did at the end of last year. Me and Tim and my brother, he did the music. We actually made it in 48 hours as a test to see like whether or not we were really going to be able to work together in a stressful environment and make something good. So I'm happy people liked it.
Yeah, Antibody I think is brilliant. Great fun.
Thank you.
Whereabouts are you now within the development for it? Because as you know, as we've said before, I assumed it was ready, but I mean, it feels like now that you're just adding loads and loads of stuff to it, and we don't know where you're going to stop. So
we're making content right now. We've probably got close to half the game's content in there. And luckily, like we've got a really good pipeline for building the levels because, as you said, it's very polished and very finished feeling, right? Because we've focused on making sure the gameplay and the aesthetics and all of that are at the level that we actually want to release at for the stuff that we've shown. The trick is we just need a lot more of that content. So, I'm building new levels and Tim's building new art assets. He's working on the second boss right now.
Right.
So hopefully between now and the next couple of months, we will basically just build out the entire game, trying to build, 1 or 2 levels a week, basically.
Oh right, okay. This is again. I literally can't wait till it comes out. It's the only thing I've been missing on is the multiplayer action. That's it. That's it, and then I'll be a lot happier. But yeah.
Well, hopefully you can give it a go. We're aiming for an late October, early November kind of release for PC, but we'll be doing like pre-orders soon with alpha access. So if you pre-order the game, we'll give you the current version, which has a bunch of levels and bosses and content.
Fantastic. What's, as you've mentioned yourself, as Rob's put in the thing, what's the funding situation? How is this? I suppose what Rob's trying to ask is if it's not too, who's bankrolling it? Is that what you mean, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, effectively, the games that are not made for free.
No.
There are costs which you can minimise, but my impression is this is your job. This is what you're doing.
Yeah.
I without knowing what the situation was with Sega, I don't know if you were made redundant and working off the back of that, or if you're just sitting there, fingers crossed, hoping that this is all going to be a great financial success.
So it's self-funded between the three of us. We're all just like paying all of the bills ourselves. Didn't get redundancy. I actually quit in February. So Sega just closed down like 2 weeks ago. Everybody there did get redundancy.
Oh,
but
no.
I just had my savings. It was the right time for me though. I wanted to work on this project. So I've been living off my savings. My bank balance, as you put here, you're not going to ask for it, but it's pretty tight. I'll tell you that. Getting towards the end of the year, but basically I've allotted for, and I think it's the same for Tim too, we've got enough money saved that we should be able to finish the game, and then hopefully people like it, and we can not have to go and get jobs straight away at a new place, and we can actually keep making Cactus, keep adding content onto it, and make new games. That's the hope anyway.
Have you thought of a second one already?
I've thought of some things I'd like to do, but honestly, I haven't done everything I want to do in the first one yet. So I'm aiming towards any ideas I come up with. I'm still evaluating, like, how can I actually get this in the game that I'm working right now?
Yeah.
And I've thought of a new project though. I'd love to do a beat 'em up sometime. So there you go. You've got the scoop.
Have you seen a guy called Nicole Hunt? He's based out in the UK. A game
it's
called
Fist of Awesome, right?
Yes. That is inspired virtually every 80s beat 'em up going.
I've played a pre-release demo of it and it's really good. But as I've said to him personally, that his flying kick noise needs toning down a bit because Christ, that got me a few stairs and nearly made me dead.
Have you? Nico was very, very kind to us, and he's actually sent us all the sound files to use as samples and bits and pieces. Have you actually listened to the noise sound in the sound file selection?
I haven't, no.
Turn the volume down when you hit it. It's just as loud. It
Thank you for the warning.
You get all these great noise effects, and suddenly you're deafened by a flying kick.
Oh, they're all in one, are they?
No, but the way I've set up in iTunes, I just press play and it just cycles through. Because obviously they're half a second sort of style each, it doesn't take long before you're deafened.
Your iTunes library must look horrendous.
I keep it on separate lists.
It really must do.
I never actually use the main iTunes library. I use lists for everything.
Do you?
Yeah, I use.
Very efficient of you, Rob.
Everything is playlisted.
Everything's playlisted.
Before we get on to the next question, there's something I haven't put down, but I'm really interested in seeing. Have you had any? Well, no, I won't tarnish the response. What sort of feedback have you had about the fact that your character set list that we've seen to date, and I assume everyone else has seen to date, those that have played it, is entirely made up of female characters, which in the current state, without being hypersexualized?
Well, someone on Greenlight actually called it the most sexist game they've ever seen, so that was an interesting one.
They haven't spent long on the internet then.
I don't think so. I don't think they've played many games. Is the only thing I could take away from it. So the response in general has been, not too many people even pick up on it really. Occasionally we talk about it when I talk with guys like yourselves who are keenly aware of what the environment's like in making games, but in general, thankfully, it's kind of just gone as a standard thing. I mean, we had, like I said, the terrible response of the guy on Greenlight saying it was the most sexist thing he'd ever seen. But yeah, most people are kind of okay with it. And part of it is that we wanted it to be that way. We're not advertising the fact that it's an all-female cast as like, hey, this is our gimmick. It's just, well, they happen to be female. They were interesting character designs, and we rolled on with that motif because we thought it was interesting, and so we just kind of kept with it.
That's fair enough. Yeah, it's just it was. I think we've actually jumped around. I mean, we haven't got into what actually inspired Assault Android Cactus specifically.
Yeah, because we don't even pay attention to our own questions.
No, of course we don't. We just jump around all over the place. It's all quite random.
Yeah, well, it's actually an old concept of Tim's. So he actually drew this character nearly a decade ago.
Right.
And since then, he's wanted to make a game. He thought, this was perfect for this style of game. And then a lot of the inspirations came from just arcade games in the era that we loved. Late 90s arcade games, Sega games. People call them Sega Blue Skies, right? Where everything is bright and happy and inviting and has to draw your attention from half a mile away because it's an arcade game, and there are so many arcade games, and it has to compete with all those. So that's a lot of our visual inspiration and gameplay wise. I think a lot of similar inspiration came from that arcade era, pick up and play nature of those games, and the fact that you had to be able to figure out how to play them in under 10 seconds, otherwise it was a failure.
Yeah.
And they were just engaging. They tested your skill. We tried to push it more towards skill testing and less towards trying to eat your $2 coin, because we don't do that anymore unless you're a free-to-play game.
They taking on the freemiums. No, you do as much as you want.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like they got their hand out. They're like, just give me $2. Come on, just give me $2. Sometimes they feel pretty good, but I don't know. I'm not too much of a fan of freemium games, to be honest.
You don't like League of Legends then?
League of Legends is okay. There's some that are a lot worse. I've tend to find iPhone games can be a lot more asking for $2. Candy Crush Saga.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the most insidious one, isn't it?
Yeah.
They chew money, but I'm really League of Legends. Wow.
League of Legends is alright.
I hate it with a passion.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I don't know whether it's the people I'm playing with, but it's just there's something about it. It was just, you can't just go and batter them. You have to attack them a little bit and then pull back, and then attack them a little bit and pull back. And
yeah,
I couldn't get my head around it.
And yet,
the community it's terrible in those games.
Now, our community is actually very good. They don't go around insulting your mother or anything like that. I've literally had some tutelage off some very good people who know what they're doing and have been playing it for years. And I said, I'm sorry, lads. I just don't like it. I can't get on with it. And then I just went and played TF2 for the next couple of hours just so I could take out some frustration.
But surely that's the joy of our hobby, is that there is a lot of variation available in the market. I think we have to appreciate not all games are for everyone.
You say that. Yeah? I was looking at my Steam library yesterday, and now I've got 156 games on there, and that is tiny compared to some of the people I've been talking to about this. I mean, some have got like between 400 and 500 games on there. I'm thinking, Jesus fuck, what are you doing? And I was just sitting there yesterday, and I didn't know what to play. I did in the end, which is amazing. And that reminds me, I need to add that to the list of games I've been playing.
You add that to your list with your Steam-powered keyboard. Christ, I can hear your keyboard from here.
It's a mechanical keyboard, Rob. Get over yourself.
They're the best.
Exactly. It's a Corsair K95. It's white backlit, all mechanical, loads.
Very nice.
Sexy
keyboard porn.
It is. It's got an external USB port in it as well, and like 4 different switches for different modes, and then I can bring it all. I'm going on about my fucking keyboard now. Shut up, Rob.
You have to have a mechanical keyboard. They're great.
You do.
Have you tried one before, Rob?
Oh yeah, most certainly have. The noise irritates me.
Well, you've probably got the Cherry Blues, because they're all the clicky-clacky ones. I've got Reds, Cherry MX Reds. They're slightly clicky, and you can also do touch typing on them very well. Not that I've looked into keyboards much.
I have.
I have.
Actually,
mine I have.
On a slightly related topic to League of Legends and strategy games in general, before I was making games, I was actually like I guess you could call it semi-pro gamer.
Go on.
I played competitive Warcraft 3 at the highest levels here in Australia and internationally a little bit as well.
Ooh. John on the other show would love to talk to you. He loves that game.
It's a great game.
I've still got some T-shirts out here, actually. Warcraft T-shirts.
Send him one. He's probably got 400 of them anyway.
Yeah, more than likely.
No, actually, I have no Warcraft T-shirts. I have figurines and things that I've won, but I never won any T-shirts.
Yeah, let me have a look at this. I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'm just reaching over and get it. It's described as a Warcraft vintage T-shirt, large charcoal, orcs and humans.
Cool.
That's what I've got in front of me.
Very impressive.
Right, we'll split the postage. Australia ain't that much.
I can post it to you.
Well, thank you. I would appreciate that.
Done. Right.
Done. We'll get that.
Done. Right.
This is where we'll sort it out after we've done the recording. We'll talk about it.
Yep.
It's yours.
Yep.
Now, we've spoken to Ashton Reyes, who seems to know quite a bit about the indie scene in England. We've spoken to Ben Rivers, God bless him and his temperamental internet, about the indie scene in Toronto, I believe.
Yep.
Toronto, wasn't it?
Yep.
And
Molly Goss as well. No, Molly was America.
She was American, yes.
Yeah, we've done a lot of the world now. We're getting around there.
We're getting around, indeed. There's someone in
New Zealand. It's like 3DS Street Passes.
It is. It's getting like that.
A collector card, yeah. We've got someone in New Zealand we're trying to talk to about a game called Under the Ocean, if you've ever heard of that.
I think I've heard of it. I haven't seen too much on it, though.
Fantastic. Right, I will fill Rob in a bit, and I'll try and sort that out. But to the point at hand, before I go somewhere else, what's the indie scene like in the Land of Oz?
It's kind of booming, actually. We've had every major studio in the country just about closed down in the last 4 or 5 years. Talking Rat Bag and the guys behind LA Noire, Team Bondi, sorry. We had Melbourne House turn into Chrome and then shut down, and then Chrome absorbed a bunch of other studios and then shut down. Sega's shut down, THQ shut down, Pandemic shut down. So pretty much the entire major studio industry in Australia has collapsed, and out of those ashes have come a huge indie scene, actually. So it's booming.
Yeah, just because the major studios have gone doesn't mean the developers have gone. You're all still there.
Most of us. Many of us have gone, though. A lot of my friends are over at places like Blizzard and other US companies. So
you can take the game out of the gamer, but you can't take the gamer out of the game. Or I'm going to say that the other way around. You can take the gamer out of the game and not the game not out of the game. There you go. I fucked it up.
You edited it in properly.
Yeah, indeed. Now, have you thought of any other questions, Rob, or shall I ask the last?
I am conscious of time.
24-point question.
the not so secret question. Are you aware of what this question may or may not be?
I have no idea, actually.